beautiful, beautiful, beautiful people. I hope you all are having an amazing, marvelous, magnificent day or night. And if not, I hope your day or night gets better. My name is Tati V, and if you're a true crime lover like me, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I do post true crime content in ASMR format. That is why I'm whispering. This is an ASMR channel. Oh my god, I miss y'all so very much, so much. I have been working on a huge project that is coming out starting on December 1st. So just because I haven't been on camera, it's a train. So just because I haven't been on camera, that does not mean I have neglected y'all. I definitely have not neglected y'all, and y'all are gonna appreciate what I have coming up big time. So before we get into today's video, I just want to shout out my first comment winner, Gremlin LOL. Thank you so much for being the first comment winner, and if any of you guys out there would like to be the first comment winner, just comment down below being the first one to comment, and you could be featured in one of my future uploads. So today we're going to be reading out of the true crime handy dandy book that I haven't pulled out in like over a month. Oh my god. So sit back, relax, grab a snack, some water, some wine, whatever warms your little heart, and enjoy some crime time. Warning, this video may contain details of graphic content. This channel is for mature audiences only. Some viewers might find this disturbing. In the early morning of August 5th, 2009, the Peoria Fire Department received a call that smoke had been spotted coming from the Covenant of Grace Church. Peoria is a city in Maricopa County, just west of Phoenix, Arizona. It is a quiet and unassuming city. However, in 2009, it was the starting point of an investigation that would uncover, according to detectives, one of the most hideous murder cases in the history of the Phoenix police. 33-year-old Angela Simpson was smoking a cigarette on August 2nd outside her West Phoenix apartment. 46-year-old Terry Neely, riding his motorized wheelchair, approached her. Terry lived in an assisted living center nearby. Angela barely knew Terry but had held a brief conversation with him in the past. During one conversation, Terry had boasted about being a police informant. He further indicated that he had snitched on someone whom Angela knew. Now, why would he reveal that type of information? Someone that he felt was a righteous person. There were two types of people Angela believed deserved to be killed: police informants and child molesters. A black woman herself, Angela viewed Terry as, quote, white trash, end quote. Angela used her feminine charms and invited Terry over to her apartment for sex and drugs. Terry was excited by the offer and followed Angela as she led him to apartment 201. Once they were in her apartment, Angela stood before Terry and slowly approached him. Terry was unable to take his eyes off her as he anticipated all the pleasure he was about to experience. When she was directly in front of them, Angela gave him a hard slap across the face. Terry yelled out in pain as he was knocked to the side of his wheelchair. She moved behind the wheelchair and pushed Terry until he was in front of a wall-length mirror. Angela wanted him to witness everything she was about to do to him. She grabbed a tire iron and repeatedly beat him over the head. Blood flowed from his head as he began to lose consciousness. Angela spotted some pliers on a table, grabbed them, and demanded Terry open his mouth. The blow he received left him dazed and withering in pain. She grabbed his head and forced it back. With her other hand, she pulled out his teeth one by one. As Terry screamed in pain, his head was soaked in blood and more dripped from his toothless mouth. Barely alive, he slipped from his wheelchair to the floor. So no one in any other apartment heard this and decided to call the police. Maybe they did, we just haven't gotten there yet, so I hope so. On the same table as the pliers were a hammer and a 3-inch nail. Angela grabbed the hammer and nail and drove the nail into Terry's skull. He moaned in pain. I would have just died. I would have just oh God. I think I would have just held my breath or something. Oh my God, that is horrifying. Oh my God. Blood from his mouth wounds drained down his throat, causing him to cough. Angela grabbed an electric cord, wrapped it around his neck, and choked him. She's not done yet, y'all. She finished him by slitting his throat with a knife and stabbing his body repeatedly. Angela stood over Terry's dead body, the carpet around him soaked in blood. She was faced with the problem of what to do with the body. She knew she is not, I guess I meant to say she knew she was not able to move it alone. So she got an electric saw and dismembered the body. She put Terry's torso in a garbage bag, placed it in her car, and drove to the Covenant of Grace Church. Upon arriving at the church, she placed the bag in a trash can in the parking lot. Angela poured lighter fluid on the bag and ignited it with a lit match. Terry's torso became engulfed in flames. As Angela sped away from the scene, firefighters discovered Terry's torso when they were putting out the fire. Later, police found Terry's electric wheelchair outside a West Phoenix apartment. Detectives could not establish a connection between the torso and the wheelchair, nor did they have any leads. They received a big break when Angela was arrested for an armed robbery that she committed in the same month that she had murdered Terry. I would love to see what this woman looked like. Police went to her apartment to search for more evidence. Upon entering, they discovered that it was cleared out. All that remained was a strong bleach smell. The police were able to find blood evidence that matched the DNA of the torso. Angela freely confessed to murdering Terry. She was sentenced to life in prison with an additional 14 years for abandoning a body. Angela has been very open about her feelings regarding her crimes since her conviction. When asked why she murdered Terry, she replied, quote, "I don't want my children or the people I consider family to be in a place where there are snitches. I believe informants and child molesters should be killed," end quote. If he wasn't doing something you had no business doing, you wouldn't have to worry about informants or informants should be killed. Informants wouldn't even matter to you because you shouldn't be getting in trouble anyway. She also told interviewers that she does not feel at all guilty for killing Terry, stating, quote, "I'm a little upset that I won't be able to, kill more snitches, but I have no remorse about killing him," end quote. When asked why she had him face a mirror during his murder, she stated, quote, "He needed to see what he deserved," end quote. When asked about how she felt knowing she would be spending the rest of her life in prison, she replied, quote, "I've got a lot of family in prison. I'm okay with that. I've got many sisters in prison. I can't wait to see them. It's really not that much of a punishment to be sentenced to spend my life with my family," end quote. Okay. Angela explained that she has a history of mental illness going back to when she was just 10 years old, but insisted that she does not want or expect sympathy. Girl, you was never getting sympathy. I don't even know why you would even say anything like that. It's sympathy, girl. Wow. She also said she believes she deserved the death penalty, but is happy with her sentence. When asked if she would ever kill again, she replied without hesitation, quote, "If the opportunity arises, I hope so," end quote. So I am going to read another story. That's one thing I really don't care for in this book. The stories are way too short. Like, I have to read like 2 stories in one setting. Thomas Michael Lane III entered the courtroom wearing a dress shirt and long pants. His court date would give the families of the 3 students he had killed an opportunity to present their victim impact statements to him. 18-year-old Thomas sat down and started to take off his shirt so he could display the t-shirt he wore underneath. In large letters, Thomas had written the word killer. He smirked when family members exposed their raw pain and grief as they read their statements. After the judge handed down his sentence, Thomas faced the families and stated, this is what he said, y'all, quote, "This hand that pulled the trigger that killed your sons now masturbates to the memory. Fuck all of y'all," end quote. Nah, I usually don't believe in the death penalty, but he gotta go. He then gave the middle finger to the families. Born September 19th, 1994, Thomas' home life was extremely dysfunctional. His father, Thomas Lane II, had served time 4 years in prison for charges that included attempted murder and felonious assault. He terrorized his family and would frequently beat Thomas's mother. The stress, fear, and isolation that Thomas III experienced while being raised in such a horrific environment would contribute to a deadly outcome. Because of his upbringing, Thomas never had the opportunity to develop trust, confidence, or a sense of self. He did poorly in school, was withdrawn, and rarely spoke to others. He was also the subject of bullying. Thomas's grandparents adopted him and attempted to provide him with a nurturing home. His grades improved, and neighbors had the impression he was a pleasant and friendly young man. However, Thomas had still had a lot of rage within him. He was arrested twice for participating in an attack on his uncle with his cousin and for physically assaulting another boy. He was originally enrolled at Chardon High School, but they referred him to Lake County Educational Service Center. a school that specialized in working with students that have academic or behavioral needs. If he completed the school's program, Thomas would be able to graduate with his classmate from Chardon. His grades improved dramatically, however, he kept to himself and was bullied. On February 27th, 2012, 17-year-old Thomas walked into the cafeteria at Chardon High School. He was waiting for the bus that would take him to Lake County Educational Service Center. It was 7:30 a.m. and the cafeteria was full of students eating breakfast. 1,100 students attended Chardon, and around 100 of them were in the cafeteria that morning. Among the students eating breakfast were 16-year-old Daniel Parmador, 17-year-old Russell King, 16-year-old Nate Buller, and 17-year-old Nick Wowzik. The four boys were sitting at the same table as they joked around and ate their breakfast. Russell was dating Thomas's ex-girlfriend. Without any warning, Russell pulled out a Ruger MK3 target 22 caliber semi-automatic handgun and began firing. Panic and chaos broke out as the students dropped their food trays and ran for safety. I don't even remember hearing about this. This happened in 2012. Some of the students ran for the exits while others dove under their tables for cover. Thomas walked over toward the table where the four boys were sitting and aimed. The first bullet missed its target and grazed the ear of a 6th grade student, Nate Muller, who was walking nearby. Nate ran toward the exit and escaped. I'm so glad he escaped. Until he was grazed by the bullet, he had not even realized a shooting was occurring. Thomas shot again, this time accurately. Parmador died instantly. Russell was seriously wounded, and a boy, Demetrius Healing, sitting at another table. While Zach ran toward the exit as Lane fired at him repeatedly. He shot Walzak in the neck, arms, back, and one bullet entered his cheek. Despite his multiple wounds, Walzak ran down the hall and escaped. Thank God. He collapsed outside the classroom of the math teacher, Joe Ricky. Upon hearing the gunshots, Joe had locked down his classroom. The well-being of the students was Joe's top priority. He slowly opened his classroom door to check for any students left outside who needed help. He saw Walzak and dragged him to safety of the classroom, where he administered first aid. After shooting at Walzak, Thomas ran for the exit to escape. On the way, he came across 18-year-old Joy Rickers. He shot her, injuring her, and continued with his escape. Coach Frank Hall had heard the shooting and ran for the cafeteria, entering at the opposite end where Lane had exited. Beyond the traumatized students, Coach Frank Hall could just make out Thomas running out of the building. Coach Frank Hall took off after him, disregarding his own safety. While the shooting was in progress, one of the students had called 911 using their cell phone. 33 police officers descended on the high school, along with emergency crews from 4 fire departments. They located Thomas near his parked car, where they arrested him without incident. March 1st, 2012. Thomas was charged with 3 counts of aggravated murder, 2 counts of aggravated murder, and 1 count of felonious assault. He did not enter a plea and was arraigned. On March 6th, he had 3 defense attorneys representing him. By the judge's decision, Thomas would not be tried until he was evaluated for competency. They scheduled another hearing to determine if he would be tried as an adult or juvenile. According to Ohio law, a child may be found competent the seriousness of the charges, if able to understand the court proceedings, if able to aid in the defense, and if able to understand potential consequences. A child with a mental illness or an intellectual or developmental disability may not be found competent. The court held Thomas's competency hearing on May 2nd, 2012. A psychiatrist, Dr. Philip Resnick, testified that Thomas was mentally ill. Look, Thomas was not mentally ill. He afflicted all the family members in the courtroom off after telling them that he masturbated with the same finger or with the same hand that pulled the trigger, killing their sons. So he knew what he did. He knew exactly what he did. If he was competent enough to understand, to flick off the families, he's competent enough to stand trial. The court held Thomas's I reread that. Although he diagnosed Thomas with psychosis, he determined that Thomas was able to understand the crimes with which he was charged. It was determined that Thomas was competent to stand trial. Yeah. March 19th, 2013, Thomas was tried as an adult. He pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 3 life sentences in prison. Good, as he should. So that was the ending of the video. I hope you guys like it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll catch you in my next video. Bye.